raise your hand and then you can ask question. Okay. So we're gonna have ample opportunity to ask question because, because I'll come back to you on this. But how's everyone?
Or they might question in the chat. There is chat room, right? So they might write their question. Later we will answer. So at least everyone will know.
Yes, that can be. Actually, generally the way I run my discussions, I don't call it a training. I call it a discussion. So in that, basically, we discuss a concept and then we request people to kind of come up with a question or they have any comment. So we'll follow that, because sometimes that's a very good idea what you are saying, Francis. But sometimes, you know, we miss out on certain questions. So therefore, we try to cover that part as well. So we have around 60 minutes. That's a good time for us to. Malvin, are you here?
Yes, and I'm here. I'm here. Hassan,
yes.
Okay. What we can do is, Hassan.
Can we switch off our mic?
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. So.
Salim Khan is here.
Who's?
Salim Khan.
Salim Khan, how are you?
Good, sir. Fine. Thank you.
Very good. So please switch off your mic for a while. If you have any question, we can raise our hand. There is a way. So, and then we can kind of, you know, move on. Is that okay?
It's okay, sir.
So all okay?
All okay, sir. All okay.
Good, good, good. Let's start. Panalo. Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much. Today's topic. So what is today's topic? Anyone want to say about today's topic of discussion? Anyone who want to say something about today's topic? What we're gonna talk about? Yes, no?
Coaching, what they said, what's that?
Okay. Okay, I mean, fine. What you're saying, it's coaching or mentoring. So why, did you think about that? Why do we need to talk about this topic? Okay, not an issue. I think Francis is here. So let me just share my screen with you guys. And then we can see from there on. Okay. So everyone can see this screen?
Yes.
So good. Okay, what we can see, which is written with the red font. Can anyone say something about this?
Mentoring and coaching for line managers, supervisor, and team leaders.
Okay.
So, meaning it's what is how to handle and to manage properly the person in your group.
Okay, that's very well said. How to handle. So, anything you want to say? How to handle? You wanna discuss anything about this? How to handle?
Yes, actually, when handling the groups, it means you're not the boss. At least you are a leader, because the boss is different than a leader, right?
Okay. So what does it mean? In your own point of view, how do you define the leader and boss, for example?
Because the boss is different when you have if you are a leader, meaning the leader have a own leadership, how to handle the people, which means they not forcing the people to work, but the people should work by their own initiative due to the leadership of the person.
Okay. Whatever you have said, let's put this in another perspective. How's that? How's that?
Leader is the
How
one
do-
guiding.
Sorry?
Leader is the one guiding to their people.
Okay. So in that regard, if you look at this picture, what do you see?
Helping people, helping his colleague.
Okay. If it's a help, so, but if you look at this particular photo or this particular image, the person is helping the person to come along with him. Like, he's helping him to kind of, move and basically go up. So
Gi-
it's more like, yeah, carry on, please.
Giving support.
Giving support, very good. But it's support or it's more than support?
Yeah, how to support mean? How to support your work co-workers, your groups.
That's very good. What you are saying, yes, it is basically support. And actually, the issue is, yeah, carry on. Someone wants to ask a question. Okay. The issue is here. We would like to see, especially in this environment, which is our topic, why at this time these things are important. So we will just run through a few slides very quickly in terms of what is coaching, what is mentoring. There is some kind of differentiation, and then we'll come to the point why we need to know at this point of time. Okay.
Right,
So,
sir.
yes. Okay. Basically, if you look at this, the whole purpose is you have to develop your people, whether you do coaching or mentoring or any kind of activity in terms of their skill enhancement. You have to help them so they can kind of having better skill set to perform better. Okay, think about from your organization point of view. If people are performing better, what would happen? If people are performing better,
it's good for the leader, it's good for the company.
it's good for the company. Very well said. So what do you mean by it's good for the company? Very well said.
For the profit wise.
Very good. For profit wise, for even health and safety wise, for customer wise. So basically, if our people are doing well and if we help them, so it means everyone is gonna get some benefit out of it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Someone is saying something.
I mean, it reduces work on one person.
Say it again, sorry. I didn't get the question. Sorry.
It reduces work on one person, whereby subordination of work is easy.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Like it is more like a team fashion. People can kind of, you can develop people and they can take the responsibility and they can perform and the whole company is gonna get benefit. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So basically, if you look at the whole thing, especially during this time period, what is happening all around us? People
Hassan,
are sitting at
sorry to
home.
interrupt.
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. I just want to inform the participants. See, I think there's some background noise and probably since you're attending from your home and there are children around, so it'll be helpful for the others if you can mute your mic, and whenever you want to share something or ask a question, just enable your mic. Until then, please mute your mic. Okay, otherwise it would disturb the other participants. Thank you.
Roger.
So are we good to go? Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Hassan.
Okay, thank you very much. So, at this point of time, especially, if you look at this, why do we need to know about all these different kind of leadership concept, different kind of support concept? Why at this stage? Why now? Anyone who wants to say something?
Because of COVID-19 coronavirus.
Okay, COVID-19 coronavirus will be finished for sure. But the point is, why as an organization, at this point, once we go back, we need to be more focused on mentoring, or you can say overall coaching. I'll come back to this concept, coaching or mentoring, in a little later. But I wanna understand why at this point of time we should be more focused. As someone has said, it's a helping kind of thing. As someone said, is supporting. You all are very right. But
To
why
improve,
at this time?
to improve, sir, to improve such type of disaster or lockdown type, to improve their skills and benefits and welfares.
Okay, but this has been, this week we could have done, or I'm sure we were doing that before this corona thing as well, before COVID. But now why more the organizations, they're focusing on more on the people thing? Why at this point of time?
Because now, I think, in my opinion, nowadays they realize that that is not sufficient. What they have previously done, they are not sufficient. So that's why we need to more focus on this.
Okay,
So,
thank you very much.
I think people need to become more resilient
Yes,
and have a degree of well-being themselves in order to perform and understand the difficulties they have themselves and with those.
Alex, carry on. I can hear. Yes.
Yeah, I think people are now, there's much confusion, and many people don't have power within themselves to make big decisions. They're looking at people to help with that, and also for to help with their own resilience. We need to have an understanding of how people are feeling in the current situation, and therefore we can have empathy and we can accommodate the
Alex, thank you very much for summarizing it. Can I ask a question to everyone? Do we know, once we'll go back to our work environment in any country, how our organizations, how board of directors, the management, they behave? What kind of business we are going to join again? What kind of customer we're going to have again? What kind of environment? Can we envisage all that at this point of time?
Sorry, I'm still on open mic here. If I don't think we can, we'll have cash flow problems. We still don't have an end date yet of when things will go back to what we term as normal. People may be very different and more cautious.
That's
and
right.
I think commitment and having a business continuity plan would have to be something that is high up on the agenda. This happening again.
That's right. So therefore, there is some anxiety. There is some kind of like the situation is not clear. So there is something which we as an employee or maybe as management, we don't know what would happen. So think about, if we are at this stage, how about our teams? How about people around us? How about those people who are not privy to this information, what management is thinking? So once they will go back, or even if they are kind of, we are doing all this remotely performing our operations. So just think about, at this point of time, how disengaged those people are. Not everyone, but most of the team, they are disengaged. So in order to go back and engage them, or in order to go back and having that connectivity, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? If I'm expecting a particular task from my team, so should I just give him a more like a generic information, Or do I need to actually help the person to do the job in order to get the right results? Hello? Anyone who want to say? Anyone who wants to talk about this?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You need to help them and motivate them.
That's right. So if we need to help them and motivate them, so what is required from us?
You need to empower them for the things to be done, and also the mind conditioning of the employee, because it is very traumatic about the what happenings on the crisis. So when we're going to resume our work, we should be knows about the precaution and also the things to be done, especially for the company. What is the aim, and also what is the vision of the company to
Very
survive
well
the.
said. Very well said. So you are saying, first of all, we need to know a big picture. Then
Yeah.
we can divide that big picture in a smaller part and we can share with our team. Is this
Yes.
what I've understood?
Yes, that's it.
Perfect. So what I'm gonna do now, I'll just share some information with you as a small, one or two slides about coaching and mentoring. And then we will come back to our question again, why we need to think at this point of time and how we can work on it. But before I move on that, any question, any comment on this? Because why I'm so passionate about especially this topic, as I can see in many companies, there is disengagement. In order to start that engagement process, first of all, we need to have our own realization. Do we really know what our management wants from us? Do we really know how board of governors they are thinking about? Do we really know how banks are thinking in terms of new investments, in terms of new loans? So if we are clear, then we can help our team. So we all being decision maker, do we really know? Or we are even still trying to find out this information?
Hello, can I?
Sure, anyone, please.
I think we need to first have a clarity and a clear picture of where we are and where we need to head. And if we have some information of how we're going to head, then we can go about coaching and empowering the person and helping him through the process and tell him, hey, we need to go from point A to point B. And that's probably the way we need to take, and then let him do the work.
Okay, very good. In our last webinar, we spoke about the psychological and physical preparedness of us and our team. And what you have said, exactly, we talked about that one. So this is more like a continuation where we need to know we have a better clarity and understanding. Now we need to move to our teams. So in order to move to our teams, we need to have, first of all, a better understanding of the situation and also helping them to do their job as well. So how many of us, it's just like a question, how many of us, we exactly know during this time period what our teams are working on? What are their tasks? What are their assignments? How much time they have kind of, allocated to each activity? How they're working on planning aspect? How they're working on reporting aspect in general? So how many of us we exactly know on these things while working remotely?
So I can tell you what we do as a team on our side. So we have a daily meeting schedule. We have a set task list with certain goals that's got to be achieved within a certain time period. And that is monitored via Smartsheet. So we use Smartsheet as a management tool to track progress, and we measure against that. So that's just one of the ways to monitor the people from working remotely. And that just keeps everybody on track and make sure that we achieve the goal that is set out to be achieved.
Thank you very much, Scott. My next question is, thank you very much for highlighting this. Do you see any anxiety in them? since you are very well engaged, they are being, I don't want to use word monitored, but they are being seen like what they are doing, and they are being perhaps appraised as well based on that. So do you really see any level of anxiety?
You know what, I think in the very early days, I can say that there was a little bit of a scramble among people, but I think it's also about how strong the team is. And it is a little bit of a paradigm shift for people to actually get to a point where, you know what, the panic is there, but you know what, business goes on as usual, and we just got to rethink the way we actually conduct business, and to do it in an efficient way. We still have jobs, you know, we still got employees to pay, and I think it's just a matter of empowering people. And I think people during this time had to grow up. By saying that, what I mean is that people got used to other people holding their hands to conduct business. And I think this is more empowering to people, and it was basically forced onto people that you have to now grow up and apply the knowledge that you have. You know, so once you apply the knowledge that you have and you've been mentored over the years, it's just how to apply that data. And I think from my company side and my team, I think our guys are very well equipped. It is just a matter of, you have to do things on your own right now, but you still have a sense of accountability to be there for and to ensure the sustainability of the company going forward.
Thank you very much, Scott. I have done a small research on this during last 6 weeks, not only in Qatar, but some other parts of the world, where the managers, they are basically having a strong engagement and kind of enablement with the team, less anxiety. Some of the places where people have not gone fully back, but they are kind of having some kind of physical contact as well. So managers, what they have reported, those teams are doing very well. They are gelled very well. They are helping each other, and they are kind of, you know, they have revamped the whole thing. However, in order to achieve that, the managers, they played a very, very good role in that. Manager, I'm just taking as a general term. So they are kind of very much, they acted like a mentor to their people. They helped them to even do certain tasks, even at the extent how to use Zoom, how to use team meeting, how to put the report together, how to evaluate the KPIs. Initially, there were certain bumpy rides and there were certain issues, but eventually most of the teams who are working together and they're kind of sharing information and they're being appraised, their performance is much better. So therefore, now the organizations are really thinking, do we need to be lean? Do we need to have some cuts? Do we need to do some zero kind of recruitment strategy? Do we need to have outsourcing? So all these questions, I know, like many of you, you know that companies are thinking. So generally, they would like to see who are the star performer during this time and afterwards. Any comment what I've said on this, or any idea, or anyone who want to say something?
Yeah, I think Warren was right in identifying that empowering people is important. And I think you'll probably find through this pandemic, you will find what we term as, I suppose, empty suits, where you expect to have some, say, leadership or direction and it's not coming. And that can create problems within an organization, but it can also create opportunities for individuals to step up. And you may find that some individuals have skill sets that within themselves can be identified through this period and help businesses and organizations to look at new directions, be creative and innovative. And these are all things that may have been suppressed previously, but now they're actually becoming more identifiable.
Being managers, being decision makers, being leaders, being operational person, are we really ready to do this along with our team? We may be clear, we may have good information, how our organizations, they are moving, but are we really geared up? Do we have enough skill set to help our people? So someone has said something. To help our people to perform in order to have their place in the organization in order to do the right job within the time period. So like, do we have enough skill set as managers?
Maybe we don't have initially because this entire pandemic has hit the globe like a tsunami. So even if you are a manager, you have been taken by surprise. And now we have taken everybody off the office regime and put them at homes and working from there. So everybody is in a state of unpreparedness. The question is how calm and how composed you are to take the situation ahead. How are you going to mirror your office environment and performance to a remote kind of an environment? And at this point in time, the managers need to start thinking with more clarity, encouraging and empowering their staff who are working remotely, who are stressed out, initially probably monitoring them as to how are things morning and evening, slowly get out of it and start encouraging them saying that, hey, you're doing a good job. Can you do something better? And you will realize that over a period of time, they get used to this kind of a working pattern, and then comes the comfort level. So it's like working from an office, working remotely, maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month's time, people start realizing how it's done, and that's the way it's done now.
Thank you very much. You have said very well. The point is, yes, all this empowerment, everything is very important, whatever has been said here by everyone. The point is, think from the perspective of your board of governors and board of directors or shareholders, on the people, those who are kind of, they have made the investment. Is that enough for us to just help people to do their job, like, or kind of, guide them to do their job? Or we being a manager, we need to do something more with regard to the quality of results, with regard to the control of cost, with regard to raising our bar up. So from that perspective, how about our preparedness? Do we have enough tools? Do we have enough information? Or before that, do we have enough realization? Someone else want to say something? Yeah, Henry?
Yeah, what I want to say about this is that managerial work sometimes does not mean only professionalism. It means about, being updated, reading a lot, knowing a lot outside the scope of professionalism. Read a lot, understand what is outside, gather that information, pick out what is very important for your work, disseminate it to the people, let them understand, and also practice it physically for the workers to see what exactly it means, especially like this time. I mean, it means being informed.
Henry, are we doing that before we see how we can do that? Are we doing exactly what you have said?
Exactly, because it means reading, being informed by reading a lot. A manager has to be reading a lot, updates, to know updates in the world. How do other people do to manage a situation? For example, an emergency, like in this situation, a manager must read a lot, a scope of many things, so that he gathers information that can help other people, other workers, especially at work. That is what we do.
Okay, Andy, what you're saying, it is more like a coaching where you need to work on people's soft skill, where you need to people's behavioral skills, where you need to help them in terms of communication. Yes, that's very important. I'm talking about hardcore work. I'm talking about technical competencies, rather soft competencies. Those are equally important. Even soft competencies are more important. But at the same time, from an organizational point of view, they want to see the result with zero tolerance, with minimal cost and maximum quality. So are we really geared up to help people on helping them on their technical competencies? Because some of us, or maybe I assume all of us, are having more experience and more skill set than our teams. So have we worked out a plan whereby we will help our teams in order to perform well technically? Like, do we really know their job description? Do we really know what is expected from them? Do we really know their goals?
I think we
Anyone
need to
want to say? Yeah.
set the documents or establish the SOPs. Okay, so through that we can implement and we can explain all. And I think through the ground level root cause, we can explain through the safety signages, through safety teams, toolbox talks, all this type of disaster we can handle.
Sorry, you are saying can. Yeah, we can do anything, whatever we.
But I think it's effective.
My question is a little different. What is our right now state of mind? Because like this is the time we need to be ready to kind of move to the next level, because organizations are now redefining their existence. Yes, Salim, carry on.
I think, sir, still nobody's ready for this type of situation for next level. It's very hard.
Okay, Alex,
Okay,
would you like to say something?
I think we're on a bit of a roller coaster, as everyone. And so day to day, things can change. But we have to step back and take a breath and look at the dance floor, as I would say, from high above and see what's going on. Absolutely. We also need to understand what our business is doing. Can it still do the same? If it can't, what do we need to change, and understand that? And also what's the impact to our customers and clients, and really understand what their needs are going to be. So there's a whole raft of things that needs to be taken into consideration. And you really need to take the time out to really understand and see what's going on, rather than be like, and do not knee jerk. We really need to step back and just have a good look and see how we can.
Very well said, Alex. Especially you said time out. It's a very well said. But unfortunately, in reality, we are still kind of not moving mentally. We are still sitting silently, or we are a bit of idle as well. So, but there is no time for us. Unfortunately, there is no time, because on the other hand, the decision makers, they are thinking to kind of start some changes. They are thinking to take the organizations to the next level. And in order to do that, they want this thinking should be synchronized with the people who are at managerial level, and then it will go into small pieces to their teams. Manuel, want to say something, or someone else want to say something on this? Yes.
I don't know if I can speak here, but I think the biggest thing for everybody right now, what makes it very hard to manage people working remotely, is number one is the fact that companies has always and for many years spoken about infrastructure. And I don't think a lot of companies in the country has got a disaster recovery plan. When I talk disaster recovery plan is when offices suddenly get shut down and you do not have access, your service is locked in, all your day-to-day stuff has been taken for granted for many, many years. And I think the biggest frustration with dealing with people on a day-to-day basis right now is you find that a lot of people are willing to work and are able to work. However, they do not have access to what they need, typically things that is backed up on a server or that is in an office environment. And therefore, people are less productive because you spend more time with people being frustrated that they're not able to access information that they really require, and that holds them back. And you really can't do anything about it. And I think a lot of companies would have to re-strategize, and obviously integrations of backup servers or backup systems to go to cloud, to have a disaster recovery plan. And I think that's the biggest challenge in the times that we live right now, that people don't have a disaster recovery plan. If your building burns down tomorrow, when can your business be back into business? By having a backup plan, which is cloud-based. And I think that is typical of a lot of companies in Qatar. People do not have that access. We live in a very modern world, and all these things is available. And I know that a lot of companies as well don't want to invest in things like cloud and virtual spaces. And I think when companies after this would actually realize that, you know what, it's a small fee to pay to have people being able to work, whether from the office or remotely, the price that you're going to pay on a monthly premium to have your stuff stored in the cloud that is regularly accessible is far less cost to the company than having an entire company not being able to work. And,
yes.
you know, and that frustrates people, you know, and that's what's hard to manage and mentor people and say, well, I need you to do this. Well, you can't do it, and you can't keep the guy responsible for that if you cannot get to the information. And I think that is the struggle that a lot of people have in this industry is when places started shutting down, there was no contingency to say, pick up and get started in another place. You can work anywhere in the world from cloud.
Yes, Warren. In many companies, this is the issue. However, as a middle management, I'm especially talking because we said this program is for basically for the middle managers. They know the limitations. They know they don't have many resources. And that's a known fact. But how, as a middle manager or line manager, we can help our employees, our team members, our colleagues to be engaged, and also at the same time to share some new skill sets. It could be soft skill, but better to have more technical skills. So that's the question, and I want to hear from others, like being a line managers, what action they have taken to help their colleagues to upskills them, basically.
I think you're right. Upskilling, I think good communication, frequent communication with those around your team is something that shows interest and empathy, not just in the workplace, but also have an interest in their own well-being. It's extremely important. But as far as workplace achievements is concerned, set small objectives, and like employ an agile management approach. I think that is good because you want to have short-term objectives that are achievable. And with this pandemic, some long-term things may not be achievable. So you really need to set out short-term objectives, celebrate them, and have good communication with everyone you work with, and even the stakeholders, all stakeholders.
How many of us, we have reviewed our SMART goals along with our team? Because in January, for example, in many companies, every company has a different style, but I'm just talking about a generic thing. In January, generally we set our goals, right? So in March, we are in a different situation. So from March till end of April, how many of us, we sat with our team, reviewed their goals, reviewed our goals, we sat with our line manager and kind of redrafted whole thing. Maybe still we are not privy to the strategy, which the top management is working on it, but being a middle management, what role we have played to make our people comfortable with the new targets, new goals, new understanding, new action plans. Because this is all part of basically, if I look at the big picture, this is all part of our job description, being a line manager. So how many of them we have worked on this? Anyone who want to say anything? Malavan, would you like to say something about your team?
I'm fine, man. I'm just eager to listen to everyone. There's too much of silence in the room. Guys, please feel free to engage, ask questions. This is not a training, it's more of a discussion, please.
For sure, it's not a training.
Okay. I don't want to hog things too much, but yeah, in about 20 minutes, I've got another.
Alex, can you switch on your camera? So we would like to, yeah, we would like to see you as well. Yeah, sure.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
I think much of what I'm doing today, in fact, I've got a meeting coming up in about 20 minutes, and it is with a team of our senior consultants and so on. And what we're doing is we're discussing a process to accommodate how we are going to move forward from our collective experiences that we've had. We've all had experience, good and bad, previously, and how we can take these experiences forward and share that to the wider community. And so this meeting today is, well, the meeting I'm going to be having later is really a run through in preparation for a wider audience. I think we've got about 36 people coming in tomorrow on a webinar that we're doing. And so it's good preparation, clear and consistent and concise information, and the same message all along, and involving everyone that needs to be involved. And also having that empathy with our staff members, with our colleagues, and so on, and give them a pat on the back, give them the reassurance that they're looking for, and also the support, and let them know that we are contactable. It's not just an us and them. We're in this together. So there's very much a two-way conversation and communication that needs to go on.
Thank you very much, Alex. May I say something? Thank you very much. What you have said about the empathy thing. So as I said, even the redrafting the goals, redrafting their plans, this is also part of empathy. We have had finished one small study with one psychologist or a clinical psychologist, and the research is basically based on the people who are engaged. And engaged mean not just doing the mundane things, but they are more like engaged, doing constructive work during these 6 weeks. And the people who are like, not fully engaged, or their company is not very kind of open in communication, their company is not sharing the exact information, or they are not kind of having a regular contact with them, the level of anxiety was definitely more in them. Even they are not working, even they are at home, even they are chilling, even they are resting. But the people who are mentally and physically engaged but doing something, their level of anxiety was much, much less. So interestingly, as a human being, we feel those people who don't want to work, they'll be more happy and kind of, relieved. But it's other way around. Alex, your comment.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we work with psychologists, and it is very much that letting people feel valued. And if we give them the time that we're interested in, and we listen, I always say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's the proportion we should be actually engaging in. So listening is something of tremendous value, and to people who are doing the talking, in so much as that they can see that you're actually concerned, you have that care. And so many of the people that we work with, this is very much part of what the resilience and well-being side is actually being implemented within the various other elements of what we're doing. We're involved in the change management side of things. So this is a severe change which has been forced upon us. It's an external influence upon everybody, but not just our own businesses, but our clients, our customers, and so on. It's huge. How do we deal with it? And I think Warren kind of touched on it earlier with the disaster plan, and it runs along the lines of having a business continuity plan. Many businesses that I'm engaging with do not have this, which really surprised me. And I think that's something that a lot of people will now be thinking about, in so much as to have the preparedness in should something like this. It doesn't have to be a pandemic. It could be, okay, we've had a major fire and our premises have gone. How do we deal with that? So you would have roles, responsibilities, risk assessments. You would have all this. How are we going to supply our clients? You would have all this already in place to some degree. So you would be starting from a better position than where many businesses are today.
And Alex, just to add on this point, the companies which we have taken as a sample, where the disaster recovery plan is there, even their people management is part of it, even people engagement plan is part of it, even people information plan. So if I compare the anxiety level where that plan was there, those companies are having much more stable kind of employees, and they have done certain exercises as well. Yes, that's a very important point. However, unfortunately, some of the companies, they don't, and we have to live with that. So, and that's a lesson learned, which when we will go back to our companies, we should talk about it. But I'm saying as a line manager, what is kind of our role and how we can contribute. There is one more thing. During that study, what we have seen during last 6 weeks, where the manager is just talking hello, hi, or more like not a very concrete kind of discussion, not very objective oriented, not time kind of, they put a timeline on that. People were not fully engaged. They feel it's more like just like for discussion's sake. There is no end result. There is no kind of a measurement. So that we have also seen that. Therefore, most of the people, they are saying where the manager is helping us in order to do certain tasks, we feel more empowered. We feel more kind of even at the same time, we are ready to listen our manager more, and we are ready to give results.
I think it's important that as we progress in this situation, that we keep record of what works and what doesn't, so we can reflect back and learn from that. And some things are working well, some things are not working quite so well. So it's the usual KPI measures, if you like. And as I say, these things are valuable because they can be forgotten. People can be eager to get back to work and so on, but we need to sit back and sort of say, okay, what did we do well during this situation, and what can we improve on? Businesses can change. We may no longer have the same employees coming back into employment because they may, there could be a different organizational structure, and so maybe less people. So who are you going to take in? How are you going to upskill? So these are all things that I think needs to be really well thought out before you can actually start to get back to the normality of what we think business might be.
Alex, thank you very much. Very well summarized. Anyone who want to say something?
Yeah, can I add, please?
Sure.
I think we did speak about engaging and motivating. And there's one other thing which I feel very important, very strongly about, is how do you energize your employees and get them to do the work from a remote area also. And one of the key things which I feel, I done an article on this about a month ago, is that how can you keep the spouse and children who are presently living in their work environment remote, to keep them engaged, which is a very important aspect, because you need to look beyond your employee alone at this point in time and see if you can build a community around the spouse of the employees, have a children's community, and people who have never met each other in an office could possibly get to know one another when they are online, and the families could get to know one another. This gives sufficient space for the employee to breathe and work from a remote location.
Krishna, carry on.
I was just listening to a panel discussion on the news 2 days back to one of the IT companies from south of India. And I was quite surprised to see that they have children's daycare and activity centers working online. They even had a DJ. Now that's literally thinking out of the box and keeping them occupied. That gives sufficient space and for your employee to do his bit, and he's going to feel much more obligated to get going with his work when the company is doing so much for him or his manager is doing so much for him.
Krishna, thank you very much. What you have said, it's very important. I was reviewing one of the company's protocols, or you can say some of the principles or some of the information working from home. And the point what you have said, it was written there as well. Like, whenever you need to speak to, or whenever you need to talk to your team members, you need to make sure that you need to ask about the family, the relatives, surroundings. So therefore, the person should feel there is a connectivity with my company as well. So thank you very much. It's a very important point. So Malavan, now you need to say something or ask someone to say something.
Hassan, I think we've got 30 minutes on the board. Okay, and you have a lot to cover. Let's go ahead. And so, I really love the comments given by Warren, Alex, and Krishna. They're really wonderful, quite interesting.
Okay, I think the concept, Malavan, which we discussed,
that's brilliant.
more like is the concept is more like that what as a line manager, what should we do? What is expected from us, right? There is some kind of theory on the coaching and mentoring, but that's available. This theory is available everywhere. So I don't want to kind of spend a lot of time on this. I'll just go on this slide and let's review it together. And maybe then we can see the difference between coaching and mentoring. So just spend 2-3 minutes on this slide, and then we can take some questions on this. Yes. So how about mentoring? How are we gonna kind of define the mentoring thing? Anyone who want to say something? Hello?
Can I?
Sure. Anyone?
I mean, from where I see it is that mentoring is something like where you have done the job and you know how to do it, and then you're going to help a colleague and help him in the process and tell him where the challenges are, the pitfalls are, the short ways to doing it, the easy way to doing things, and get going with. I think that's where mentoring comes in more than coaching. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Yes, mentoring is more like, as you said, it's more like helping someone to achieve a particular task or particular goal or anything like, where you're gonna see the performance. Yes, that's very well said. Anyone else who want to say something or share some experience?
Yeah, I think in my experience, mentoring is exactly that. It is where you have the experience that you can sort of help to share with someone that's less experienced, whereas coaching sometimes is leading to a certification or certified diploma or something in that sort of skill set. But so that's the main difference, I think.
Yeah, so what I've seen, basically, people are more focused on coaching rather than mentoring. But this time, since the whole thing needs to be redefined and realigned and reinvigorated, so in order to have that, we need to act like mentors. We need to be very specific on issues, because if we do that role, our team can be more productive and they can kind of complement us as well. But if we'll be more generic, we'll be more on the other things which are not very specific, we may not be able to get those results, because organizations are hopefully they'll be more trim and slim, and they're gonna kind of move on the result based rather only effort based activity. So therefore, after talking to different decision makers, after reviewing some literature, I thought I'll share my perspective with you on the mentoring thing. And also maybe it's a good time that we can think, being a line manager, what skill set do we need to mentor our people? So any point, any question you want to ask on this? before we move to the last part, how are we gonna do this? Okay. I think now we have almost moving towards the end.
I just wanted to add something small.
Sure.
About mentoring, saying that, you know, mentoring sometimes, in most cases, it depends on the experience the managers have for a long time.
Very good.
Who have been working for a long time. They mentor the people, giving them the information with experience of the time they have been working in the certain specific work. You know, they get a lot of experience and use that experience to mentor the people to do exactly what they are supposed to do, especially work discipline.
Henry, you have raised a good point. They are supposed to do. As a mentor, do we know what they are supposed to do? Are we clear enough? Do we have enough information to help them? So again, I go back to the concept of line manager. So being a line manager, do I know my team's goals, their targets, their issues, what kind of support I can provide them? A very targeted, specific support, not in general support where I just speak about communication or maybe teamwork. No, I need to help them in this situation to do their job better than before. So what do you think, Henry, on this?
Exactly, that would be like that. But managers ought to be having done this before, doing this. It is just an increment in their daily work to, you know, to give information, more information, get involved physically.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
And especially when we go back, this is something which we need to do more and more in order to be successful as an individual, as a team and organization. Otherwise, if we are not able to do that, there'll be certain cost overruns, there'll be certain target overruns. So therefore, I think our involvement will be much more than before with our team.
Can I?
Yeah, sure. Who's, okay, Krishna. Yes.
I think at this time, it is very important that, yes, there could be a certain way of doing things when the office was running fine till about 2 months ago. And now that things have gone and there's been a whole kind of a disturbance to the working environment scenario, the mentoring gets to be so important that the mentor would know what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, how to reach a target, and what can be done about it in case there's any challenges and obstacles coming on the way. And this is a time for him to share his experience and expertise, brainstorm with the mentee, as a matter of fact, and see, because it's a question of being creative, being innovative, and how you're going to do things that you can't go and do personally, you can still manage to do it by remote. So how innovative can you get would be a very important thing, which requires brainstorming on both sides. And the more creative you can get in connecting with your customers or colleagues or suppliers, it will play a huge role, and it's going to boost your self-esteem, the way of working, and a can-do kind of a stuff. So I think that plays a very important role where the mentor can guide, mentee can work with and support one another and go past this and beyond it.
Thank you very much, Krishna. I think we all have shared our point of view in this discussion. We have covered whatever we wanted to talk about it. So now the part is how we gonna do that. And in order to have this, Malvan has organized something. And Malvan, would you like to speak about this now?
I was actually waiting for some more time. See, Hassan, while I was listening to everyone, what I was that was crossing in my mind is we've come across so many managers, so many team leaders. And whenever I interacted with them, it was more about them managing their teams. So many of the managers never had in their mind, the ones I have encountered, I'm not telling all the managers, the ones I've encountered, a large percentage of them, they never thought much about mentoring. The need for mentoring, always they thought, okay, fine, if my team requires their skills to be developed, we'll send them out on training. All right, and they've got certain targets that they need to achieve, otherwise some aggressive measures would be taken. But now it so happens, since in the coming weeks and months the departments are going to become more lean and thin, they would be compelled to mentor. I just hope they have the necessary skills to actually mentor and not go wrong there. That's what I feel, and that's one of the concerns I have.
Okay, carry on, please, Malvan.
Yep. So that's one of the reasons why this is to all the participants. We wanted to encourage discussions like this, so that it's not only Hassan's point of view, but even when Warren and Alex and Krishna, they all shared, it's about different aspects to one problem that's going to sort of blow up in the coming months. And if the managers are not, let's say, they don't gain that skill, or if they are unaware that that they don't have that skill, they're going to land themselves in a big problem. So you're going to end up with a very demotivated team. So I just hope it's not that it doesn't turn out to be very bad. So please, that's what was going on in my mind.
No, thank you very much. Actually, what you have said, it makes a lot of sense.
I think one of the points
yes.
I was going to raise in businesses is really a manager. He may not know everything, but he should be in a position to identify what the roles and responsibilities are within the organization. And he may appoint another individual to be either a mentor or a coach within his team. And so surrounding yourself with people who actually know who know their role and their responsibilities is something that, as a manager, that I could actually allocate this person to work alongside someone else, as I say, in either a mentor or as a coach role, as opposed to the manager himself being a mentor or a coach. Indirectly, he is, in so much as he's taking the decision and identifying people's roles within an organization. And I think that's an important part if you manage large organizations with very different skill sets that are required to provide the output that that your business is providing.
Yeah, okay. Let me put it this way as well. In order to be a good manager, you have to be a good mentor. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, maybe we are good managers, but we are not good mentor. What do you mean by good managers? We get the things done the way we want. The things are done, but we don't care how many people we have injured during this process. Their feeling, their emotions, their understandings, we injure a lot of people. But end of the day, result is there. But now the issue is, before this, like 2 months back or 3 months earlier, our cost of poor quality was not a major consideration. So therefore, even people are demotivated, even they are making mistakes. Everything was like taken care by the margins. But now the margins are very thin. Businesses become more difficult, more challenging from so many angles. So therefore, if we follow the same managerial approach, we may not get good results, number one. Secondly, we may not be able to meet our targets. And if we are not able to meet our targets, we'll be more frustrated. And this frustration, we will pass on to our teams as well. So in my point of view, if I conclude, I think that's the time we need to do some self-reflection. We need to understand we need to do our own SWOT analysis, and we need to see what are the skill set which we need to acquire in order to be a good mentor. Anyone who want to say something on this before we kind of move towards the closing and making our... Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you know what? I actually agree with Alex. You know, on how people should be doing things. You know, I work with we are a very close team. You know, we've been working together for a long time. I think of things as it is a good time for people when you have very skilled people and they've never actually had the opportunity to show their skills, is to actually pass on certain responsibilities to them, you know, and empowering them to actually take that leap and step forward and say, you know what, we know you're capable, and I'm just going to sit in the back and make sure that you get the job done. That self-empowers people, and you know what, that small little step the guy takes right now, living in an isolated area, working from home, could potentially grow into something bigger. And I think going forward, when everything resumes, the small little seed that you plant now will make people evolve and people grow, which will be beneficial to the company. And I think that is the important thing, you know, is as a manager, and you gotta keep the team together, number one. But you also gotta, rightly so, as what Alex said, make notes and say, you know what worked for you, what didn't work for you. And it's important to praise the people along the way, but I think more important is going to be when you resume duty again, is to keep nurturing that skill set, the new skill set or ability that people have shown along the way, and not to, when everything goes back to normal, I think the most important thing for everybody is to ensure that we continue doing things this way and actually do it better, and not fall back to what we've done things 6 months ago, because 6 months ago things were done a lot different to what it is done today. I think that's what keeps the team together, and that's when one person achieves and everybody acknowledges, people can then go forward, you know, and people then start getting more involved. And I think that is the biggest thing that everybody's probably learned over this time, is we need to trust people more, and that gives people the opportunity to step forward and say, you know what, you're not my boss. You're actually allowing me to manage from the bottom to the top and not from the top down. I think that's one big thing that we took from this, is you got to get that engagement to manage from the top up, but the manager is still there to keep the business on track, you know, and make sure that you've got sustainability, and that's how you grow a very strong team.
Thank you very much, Warren. Yes, it's very well said and very well explained. I think Ravi has a question. Ravi?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, Chief. It's very well said, and like, of course, Krishna, Alex, Warren, very nice points shared. Actually, now I've got a few words to say. One is, though we speak a lot about expect the unexpected things to happen in our industry, but really the entire world is not expected, you know, the current scenario, what's happening here right now. Oh yes, how are we going to mentor the people? Are the mentors are aware about their job responsibilities or not? I doubt. Why? Because people are completely collapsed. They don't know what exactly to do. As Mr. Hassan, you said in the beginning, instead of leading the team, they are saying, okay, yes, sir, we will do whatever you want to say. We will do like that. No, they accept what exactly it is happening there, because they don't know. No one wants to lead the team actually. So what to do now? Let us be a professional, because development, there is, it's a never-ending process. So if we are a professional, let us move to the next level of it. This is what it is, where we are now, and how are we going to go to the next level? By the way of bringing our professionalism into our our activities with our team members, with our company, to find the solution or to tune the team from the very bad to bad, bad to normal, normal to good. If they are already good, good to excellent, or from from there to go to the next level. This is a development. As we have started here, Sarandip, we always meet each other, we share our topics and our views, everything there in one place. Now we have also developed our session to the next level of webinars kind of things and all like. So similar way, we will take this forward to the the companies, our colleagues, our team everywhere. Yes, as Mr. Alex said, the team will not be the same. It will be a different team members maybe, or the size of the team may come down, the quality of the people in it can come down. But if you are able to give them the spark to be professional everywhere, wherever they are standing, and definitely we can expect the best from them, and we can come across from this situation, I strongly believe.
Thank you very much, Ravi. Very well.
Hassan, Glenn would like to share as well.
Malavan, we have a question from Glenn.
Yes, Glenn, that's right.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I just had a question. I think I just wanted to add here that you used a very key word, SWOT analysis. And I think the dynamics today have changed, be it from an employee's perspective, from an employer's perspective, or also from a customer's perspective. And what I'm trying to say here is that we can look at the SWOT analysis for each of them individually at the macro level and then at the micro level, because the entire dynamics and the behavior now has changed. I mean, we were in the pre-COVID stage, we are in the COVID stage, and we are going to go into the post-COVID stage. So it's like a moving target right now. But you're very rightfully, like you had put in your slides, post-COVID, how is everything going to come together? And that's where I think where your leadership skills, your coaching skills, and your mentor skills are going to come very well into play. So I just wanted to add that was an excellent point that you raised. The SWOT analysis, when you do that, I think it kind of ties up a lot of things together and it helps you look far ahead. And that's about it from my side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Glenn. Before Malavan will say the final words, can we switch on our cameras for the photograph? Can we all just switch on our cameras? Yes, we are coming. Yeah. One more. Smile. It was not too boring, I guess so.
I think that's how we crashed the bandwidth.
Ravi, where are you? Amir, Ravi,
I don't know how to switch on my video. Is it been blocked by you people or by me?
Yeah, Ravi,
you just block the video.
Mine has refused to come on. I don't know why.
Okay, just.
The host has stopped it.
Oh, so I'm the bad guy.
Where are you? And
my picture also. I cannot open my video.
Warren, you hate me. You are not here.
I can perhaps do a screen print shot and send it, but
I think also
don't have enough faces on the camera.
Okay.
Cool. So let me just go to the next one. Yeah, that's nice. Malavan, we are already, basically our time is already finished. So please say last words from your side.
Yeah, definitely.
Charandeep.
Are you done taking your photograph?
Yeah, please carry on. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
But
thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining us. We were really looking forward to this session to understand some of the challenges as a team leader, as a manager, what you're facing and what we can offer. We couldn't, because it's only for 1 hour, we couldn't do a lot of justice. We could probably in the coming days, we'll have more sessions where you can just join in and share some of the new experiences you have. Really looking forward to your feedback. If there are any other topics that you'd like us to discuss, just drop me a mail. I presume everyone has my email already because I was spamming your folders. So just send me a mail. These are the topics that you're interested in, and we'll find suitable speakers to discuss about those topics. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
But Prakash has a question, I think.
Okay.
Prakash, you have a question, and Krishna has a question as well.
Sorry, I actually I did thumbs up.
Yes, same here. I didn't have a question.
Sorry for that.
I was waving bye-bye to everybody.
Good man. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
All
much.
the best.
Thanks for your
Good
time.
luck.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.